If you design software, you may have already used Mac A&D or Win A&D. You can do object-oriented design with UML, structured analysis and design, data modeling, business process models, flowcharts, or even requirements management. In this video, we're going to be using the screen edition of Mac A&D to wireframe an application, do screen design, or even create live prototypes. You can do that for desktop applications, mobile apps, or websites. We'll start by launching the tool, and we're going to create a new empty prototype document. Prototype document is just a stack of screens. So we'll start by giving the first screen a name, and then we'll create an additional screen in this document. We'll call it screen 2. And we're going to be adding some objects on the screen from this tool palette on the left-hand side. So we'll get started by adding an organizer object. Let's just call that image. And in the image panel, we're going to select an image that we have on disk here. And now we see we've added an image to this first screen. Actually, we put that on screen 2. So we'll just leave it there, and let's resize our image a bit. And let's go to screen 1 and show how we can add a button to that screen that takes you to a different screen. So we'll just add a button on this screen called go to screen 2. And on the go to panel, we'll select screen 2. And now we can see how you can bring this prototype to life by navigating to the browse tool. So if you select the browse tool, you now have a live prototype where we're on this first screen. If we click the button, it takes us to the second screen. Here's an example of a little prototype that consists of 4 screens. We have a screen with different colors of Corvettes that you'll be able to see, Jeeps, payment screen for collecting payment information. We have some menus on the screens. Here's a pop-up menu to pick a color, some radio buttons, some fields, and you can do some calculations. And we have a background border that applies across all the different screens of the prototype. If we go to browse mode for this prototype, we can kind of bring it to life and see how that would work. So we see how we can navigate around through the various screens of the prototype. We can select various different colors, and here we see the car in red. We can pick different options to make calculations for the price and such. We can go to another screen where we can collect the payment information. So that's the basic idea of how interactive prototypes would work. In this example prototype, we've created a couple of screens with a picture of an Android device as the background image on those screens. We've also added a couple of buttons for navigating between the screens, and we created an organizer object of type dialog. That's one of a couple of different pop-up dialog styles you can use. That object is actually named dialog, and we'll see in just a moment how the user can click this button, and that'll run a little one line of script here where we set the visible property of that object to 1 to make that visible. Initially we had it set to be invisible. So let's take a look at how that would work in browse mode. If we go to browse mode, prototype kind of comes to life. We can click the button, up pops the dialog. We can change the color of our caption with these buttons, and you can see those buttons navigate back and forth between the various screens of the prototype. Here we create a prototype of a simple website. We're basically using just one screen, and we've created a organizer of type tab panel no border, where we've named each of the panels in that organizer. And when we do that, we basically have a set of different panels where we can put menus and a collection of pictures for the various pages in the website. So for example, on this screen we have different kinds of shoe menus. Let's look at the details. We double clicked on that, pops up the menu properties. Basically all the different widgets that we add to our different screens. Whenever you double click, it pops up a properties dialog for defining all the information about that widget. Here we have a menu. Women's shoes is the name of the menu, and some different commands, boots, sneakers, and so on. And we can see those are represented here. So if we go to browse mode, we'll select the browse tool, kind of brings our prototype to life. Now we can click through the various screens of our prototype, and we could have these different menus connected to other screens with more information.